Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Swing Batter. I have, as always, my father, the host of Rounding Third, one of the most popular shows of BadderSports. And we're pretty excited about having him here with us to participate with Aiden, as Aiden discusses a week in review, a memorial, if you will, this week about his Texas Rangers. I think we should be wearing black, maybe. I don't know if we should be too excited about it. And Aiden, I have to just say, the article last week, you talked about, here comes Cory Seeger. And not so fast, right after he wrote that article, folks, Cory Seeger is running down the first baseline, and sadly, we have a hamstring injury. So,
yes,
as Aiden was really excited about all the runs Texas was going to score, and here comes the offense, well, Aiden, I'm going to allow you to take center stage. Dad and I are here to provide you comfort. I think Dad will provide you some wisdom of what it feels like to follow a team in some rough patches. But go ahead. How did the Rangers do this last week?
To start, I think they had a record of 14-9 last time I was on the show. Now they are 15-14, and it looks like they are going to lose again to the A's. And if they were to do so, they would have the same record as the A's, both with a record of 15-14, and they're no longer in first place behind the Mariners, who notably started off the season pretty rough. So it appears that the Rangers have kind of fallen off their streak of luck that they had at the start of the season. And my dad was telling me their offense has been so historically bad to start off the season. They are worst in MLB for total runs scored. And offensively, they're doing about as bad as the Chicago White Sox last year, which is tragic. And also,
they're the lowest run-scoring team in Major League Baseball today.
Yes.
Lower than the Rockies?
I think so.
That is a stat that doesn't even compute.
Wow. Yeah, and it's wild. They still have a winning record with that.
Well, I mean, they keep this up. They obviously won't. I mean, this is
they proved it this week.
I mean, winning on very, very. Talk about a great time to play the Rangers. So, who did they face this last? Who got the pleasure of lowering their team's ERA facing the Rangers this last week?
Primarily the A's. And the crazy thing is that none of these were even close. Well, they were close games. That's the point. 3 of the 4 games were walk-offs. And we can talk about the absolutely tragic middle school defense walk-off 2-foot hit distance home run last night against the Giants, which was historically tragic, to put it in perspective.
I want to point out, for those Major League Baseball players that don't run out ground balls, this is proof that you should always run out the ground ball.
The craziest thing is, if you watch the clip...
Did you watch that live, Aiden?
I did not know. I heard it on the radio live, and it was a roller coaster. It was like one.
The announcer must have just been despondent.
Yes, I think they said multiple times of what just happened, which was my reaction as well, as I just sat speechless in the car as my mom was driving.
Oh,
my head buried between my knees. It was brutal.
Well, when you're not hitting, and then you follow it up with that fielding performance, I believe that was against the Giants. Is that correct?
Yes.
So the Giants had the luxury of playing the Rangers this last week. I think that was one of the. I think they were very happy with that.
They played the Giants and the A's mostly this past week.
Yes, that's the only 2 full series they played against. I think both teams took 2 of 3, and 3 of the wins were walk-offs.
Wow.
Against your least favorite reliever of all time, Luke Jackson.
How did you know that?
Well, my dad told me about it. He said that you were not a particular fan of his.
Yeah.
I'm starting to understand.
I understand
Starting
that,
to become a disciple of you, Dad.
There are some other bad ones available. Craig Kimbrell's in the minors, but I saw, is it Atlanta is so desperate for a reliever they're thinking of bringing him in? Wow.
It's not a
I
good
wouldn't
look.
try anything at this point.
But let's face reality. You wouldn't be even thinking about this if you were hitting the ball. I mean,
Probably true.
Yeah.
this historic run output that is happening in Texas not only is unpredictable. I mean, I don't think anyone had this in their forecast preseason. If you look at this lineup, even without Cory Seeger, this lineup is still not bad. This is a loaded lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, for them not be scoring runs and to be collectively this poor, and not even they usually get a couple guys that get hot. They have like nobody is doing anything.
Well, you can kind of compare the Rangers to like a car dealership that only sells used cars. Right now, we have like a Ferrari and a Porsche, and that's like Wyatt Langford and Cory Seeger. And everything else is like crappy Toyotas that were made 20 years ago.
And Cory,
That's basically the state of the Rangers right now. And the problem with
Cory Seeger's up in the rack getting work done.
yes, but
That's what
expensive supercars don't have a lot of mileage.
Typically, if this goes on for very long, the teams trying to manage the hope of their fans fire the batting coach, and who may have nothing to do with it, but they got to pretend they're trying something.
I mean, Mike Maddox is doing a great job trying to bolster up our pitching as they watch our offense fail to score a single run to back them up.
Maybe they should try not doing batting practice for a week.
I was thinking maybe they should just do nothing but batting practice for a week. And just like you swing until your hands don't have any feeling left in them. Like you have no choice but to hit the ball.
You know, I'm reminded of some great baseball players when they talk about these slumps that you get into and how you get out of them. I feel like you just tend to grip the bat a little harder. You tend to try a little more. You're trying to do more things that are not normal. I think I was telling Dad, I watched that Pete Rose film they did on him, and he was talking about if a hitter's in a slump and they try to change their swing or they try to change this, he goes, no, you don't change anything. You change where you're in the batting box.
Yes.
If you're behind the ball, you stand here. If the balls are on the inside, you stand on the outside. You move yourself around to try to get yourself back into the mix. You don't change your swing. It was goodness sakes, you got to the Major League Baseball with that swing. So
what's peculiar about this is that it's not unusual players go through slumps, but for most teams, of their 9 batters, 2 or 3 might be in a slump. So there's other people will stay hitting, and it'll shift around. Different guys will go in slumps at different times. This seems to be a case of, it's like COVID. The whole team is in a slump.
This is very accurate. And what's crazy is that the offensive stats are so out of whack because of how the injuries of the good players and the consistent badness of the bad players has been. Semien leads the team in RBI, and he's typically the leadoff hitter. Garcia leads the team in average, and he is the power hitter. Seager and Langford lead the team in hits and home runs, and both of them have been injured for at least 5 games in cumulative stats.
That is
terrible. Horrific.
Wow.
Oh, this is there's so much.
Are they not hitting the ball, or are they hitting them right at people?
It's. I looked at the box scores lately. It's not even that they haven't been getting as many hits as the opposing team. It's just that their clutch hitting has been very, very bad. I mean, even in the game where they won against the A's, I think it was 8-5. Josh Young came up twice with the bases loaded and 2 outs and hit like 2 pop outs. So the clutch hitting that was carrying us like the first 2 weeks is now completely gone.
So their left on base has to be a big number.
Yes, I think it's pretty large.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the team stats, and the averages for the team is not terrible. You have 3 guys above 300.
Yes.
And then above 280, you got another 2. I know Cory Seeger's out right now. And is Langford's back playing, or is he still out?
No, Langford's back playing. He's been basically the best player on the team so far, and it's not even been close. I mean, every game he's getting RBIs, doubles, home runs. I mean, he's just tearing it up right now.
But this makes no sense to have 5 players over 280 and not be able to score.
You said Marcus Semien is the leading guy in RBIs?
Yes, he's 12.
He's got a 150 average.
Well, yes, he also has a negative 0.8 WAR.
and he's got a massive contract. He's one of the big guys they signed from Toronto, if I remember correctly.
I think that's the case.
Holy cow, that's terrible.
And the thing about this,
Jock Peterson's up to 101.
Love means laws of averages says he's going to eventually come back and do something. But at least we're seeing some bright spots for him. But because I think Bruce Bochy was saying in an interview, Peterson, he can hit fastballs, and if you can hit fastballs, then you're probably going to be fine. The hit that ended his over 41 streak was off of Bobby Miller for the A's, or Mason Miller threw a 102 fastball down the middle, and he hit a double off of it. So, if you can hit that off of a slump, I think you'll be fine.
Well, typically in baseball, statistics are what they are. The water seeks its own level. When a team's like this, there's going to be a streak.
Yeah.
Or they're going to be scoring 7, 8, 9.
That's what everyone in Texas is hoping for right now. Yeah. We're all waiting. We're anxiously waiting. We need it to happen.
Well, I'm an old guy, but in the 1950s, the Brooklyn Dodgers were in the World Series, and one of their star hitters, Gil Hodges, wasn't hitting in the World Series, and the nuns in Brooklyn made all the kids say a novena for Gil Hodges to get out of his slump. And he did at the beginning of the next season. So, deferred prayer answer.
This is a 162 game season, so 1 week is not the definitive time. However, we're now not 1 week into the season. We're a couple weeks into the season. This run total is really, really concerning for a team that did. If you were to ask me, what are you worried about with Texas? I'd say, man, I hope their pitching stays healthy. I would have never thought, man, I don't know about runs. This team's lineup, the names on this team and who they have, they have legit superstars.
Yeah. And I mean,
even with Cory Seeger out, they still have some great guys. They're just, none of them are hitting.
Yeah. And the craziest thing is,
well, it seems to me what you said, Aiden, is worth considering. They're not hitting with men on base.
The LOB, as Dad says, the Justin Upton curse. That's what they have, Dad.
Yeah, I called Justin Upton LOB because he kept leaving men on bases. Now, you do have some bad ones. I'm looking at tonight's lineup. Semien at 155, Garcia at 204, and Berger. Who's Berger?
Jake Berger is a guy we signed in the offseason. Crazy, great defensive first base whenever it's not the bottom of the ninth in a tie game. And it's supposed to hit 30 home runs, but not right now.
At 180, he'll need to play about 400 games to get 30 home runs.
Craziest part about this is the three veterans in our team that are supposed to be great offensive contributors have been Berger, Semien, and Peterson, and right now they have combined for negative 2.5 WAR, and we are about 25 games into the season.
Wow.
So,
wow.
And well, I'm going to give you some optimistic hope here. I've had a lot of teams in April that have looked really pathetic, and I always blame it on the cold weather. I always say, you got to let it warm up, get into May. Once you get into May, middle of June, then you say, this is what we are. So let's hope that the Texas Rangers are just a little cold. Maybe they got that little spring flu, the spring fever, and they're just waiting for May to just kind of, everyone's going to hit it once, and then Aiden's going to be so overwhelmed with the runs. It'll be like, when you hit the lottery, you're like, what do I do with all this money?
How long is Seager supposed to be out for? He's probably going to be out for another 3-4 weeks.
I haven't checked on it. I don't.
They put him on the 10 day.
Long.
They didn't put him on the 60, but it's the hamstring. And I
wouldn't be 60 for hamstring, but probably not 10.
Well, unless he popped it. I don't believe he popped it. I think he hurt it. The only problem that I always have with a hamstring
is 10-day IL.
Don't push him back because you don't want him to re-injure it.
Diamondbacks here in town, their best offensive player, Ketel Marte, hurt his hamstring. And they said 6 to 7 weeks, but miracle of miracles, it looks like he might come back at the end of this week, so he would have been out 4, maybe not quite 5 weeks. But, here's the truth. It's time to be discouraged and sad, but it is not the end of the world. This team is a game out of first?
It's true, but it's only
So
even.
If they
So
go on a streak where they win 20 and lose 10, they'll have a 3 or 4 game lead in the division.
yes,
So, they're still in good shape, and this can't last forever. That's impossible. That's why they play 162 games.
But if it does, we're going to be here every week covering it, and we'll be amazed, like you are, the fact that this team is not scoring runs better. They're not scoring. I can't believe they're worse than the White Sox and the Rockies.
yes.
Well, the Rockies will score because they're in Colorado, but they'll lose. But they may score. I think that Aiden, I got some contacts in Brooklyn. I'll get those nuns back on the novenas, and we'll get these guys going. Okay, the Brooklyn nuns.
Well, they probably need all the help they can get. So I don't think anyone's going to reject prayers, almsgiving, sacrifices. I mean, they have a really nice stadium out there that looks like a giant barn. Maybe they can just do some build some kind of like bring your old Texas gear you don't want. We'll burn it to get rid of the old vibes.
Yeah, people have lots of ways to get out of slumps. The funniest one I remember from Texas is when the Cowboys were in a slump, and our president, George W. Bush, suggested that the quarterback break up with his girlfriend, who was Jessica Simpson, that would end the slump.
That was back when people cared about the success of the Cowboys as America's team, but those days are over.
Yeah.
I'm afraid you're kind of right about that. I don't even think they were.
Somewhere there's a guy like me that talks about the history of football, talks about the Cowboys all the time.
That is true. They were legitimate. So the Rangers had a really rough week. There wasn't a whole lot to report on other than the injury. The pitching seems to be pretty solid and holding up. I mean, you got to be pretty happy with that. You're still the ERA still looks pretty good as a team. I mean, their run differential isn't through the roof, which is really incredible considering how few runs they have scored. I mean, this could be really bad. They could be like a -50 in runs, and then you'll be like, we aren't pitching and we aren't hitting.
Yeah.
And that just hasn't been the case, especially when I look at the standings and everything, because Texas is only -15, which is really remarkable considering they've scored the least amount of runs in baseball. So their pitching has been really legit.
Yes, it is. Our starters have been very elite, and then our relievers have been pretty good. But then when it comes to
looking at tonight, where once again Texas is trailing 2-1 in the ninth. However, I'm noticing their starter, Patrick Corbin, was taken out in the 5th inning, and they are on their 3rd reliever, and they have not given up a hit. The 3 relievers haven't given up a hit yet. So pitching has been pretty solid.
Yeah.
Well, at least it was tonight. I mean, one game doesn't mean anything, but
it seems that our strength is starters and then those kind of guys in the middle that eat up innings. But then once that final guy comes on, you never know.
So you're disappointed at the end of the game. It sounds like that's the issue.
Yes.
Isn't it possible when you're a fan and a team is in a certain karma, as it were? Like when they're hot, you just sit there knowing that something good's going to happen. And it does. And when a team is not, there's no lead too big. You know, you're ahead 6-2 and you're sitting there like Uncle Brian, who's a Cubs fan. No matter how much the Cubs are ahead, he keeps saying, they'll blow it. This is from 30 years of watching them blow it. So you have these feelings like, I don't care that they're ahead. I don't feel good. As given, that last play yesterday was, if you were a Ranger fan, people watching that are just on the floor laughing.
Yeah.
Because this doesn't happen in professional baseball. But that's not true. It seemed like it did.
It required like the stars to align of 3 different players. It was kind of almost beautiful in a sense because we're never going to see anything like it again. And yet also so horrific.
That whole play was so interesting to watch because of the camera angles and also the facial expressions.
Who did you blame? You said there were 3 players. Who did you blame?
So Luke Jackson So first of all, the ball gets hit. It bounces 2 feet. So it dribbles 45 feet to the pitcher. Now, Luke Jackson, it's the bottom of the ninth. You've thrown 1 pitch. Just let the guy get to first. He tries to do a diving throw like he's Derek Jeter or something over the mound. Completely misses. And the run, I forgot who the guy was, but he sees that the ball gets by Berger, and so he takes off for second. Now, Garcia, being the incredibly diligent player that he is, was not backing up the play. And so the ball is able to take a solid 5 seconds rolling in the right field corner there. And so the runner rounds second and is kind of just jogging to second. He's not even sprinting. Makes it all the way to third as Garcia airmails it. Actually, no, Garcia doesn't even get to the ball. Berger has to go and get it. Now, Berger lumbers all the way over there, picks it up, cannons it to third, completely misses, and if he just walks in and scores after that.
So you got the 3 people are Jackson, Garcia, and Berger.
Yes.
Are responsible for this.
I'm not going to put Garcia on any of this list. It was a ground ball to the pitcher, and the San Francisco Giants Stadium is such a large outfield. For him to even be remotely close to first base is an anomaly. I agree with your first assessment. How often do relief pitchers practice the bunt drill? Not very often. And he was going away from first base, picking it up with his bare hand, and Aiden's not wrong. He literally did a jump through.
Yes.
And when you watch it, you're like,
almost got it. I mean, almost as in he missed by 4 feet, but
yeah, the best part is almost got it. But then when that happens, everyone feels like they can make up for the error. And that's what happened the next throw.
I experienced this firsthand.
And when you're in the lower divisions, this makes a lot of sense because you're trying to save a play. When you're in a tie game and the other team is last at bat, you don't even get another at bat. To Aiden's point, sometimes you just have to eat that ball and say, hey, it's okay. That's a nice bunt hit. Congratulations. We'll get you the next time.
So what's going to happen is someday, maybe tonight, something good is going to happen to the Rangers. And everything will look bright again. Okay? Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. But when it happens, everyone will say, even though they only have won 1 game in a row, they'll say, we're set now. We got it going.
Yeah. So we desperately need to get
on the
score with 9 runs.
Up on the Rangers' schedule, they have the A's, which they're playing tonight. So the A's again. And then we get into the wonderful, wonderful month of May. Because May is the month they come out of it. And they play Seattle, Boston next week, and then Detroit. So this could get really good, or it could get really bad, depending on what Texas team wants to start showing up. Because Seattle's kind of an important matchup in this division. And as much as we want to make fun of the Sacramento A's, the Rangers certainly aren't making them buried like we thought. And you were saying last week, you said the A's are the team that's impressing you, and they certainly are not the easy out that you thought they were going to be. So,
well, tonight, heart in throat. The Rangers are up in the bottom of the ninth, trailing 2-1, and they have to face Mason Miller with his 102-mile-an-hour fastball and his .90 whip. So, good luck.
What's funny is that last time I listened to a Rangers game live while this guy was pitching, Josh Young hit a walk-off opposite field home run. So, it would be certainly nice.
He's up second. Get Semien on and he'll do it again.
That would hope be the perfect ending.
And hope rings eternal for those that are baseball fans.
Let me just declare it so. I just noticed that Semien's got the count to 3-0. So,
this is
the leadoff man on.
Before any of this happens any further, we should close the podcast so Dad can be the prophet that you wanted. And he's going to just give a call to the connections that he has.
Tonight's the night it turns around. Semien walked. Now Young hit the homer, and you can get a good night's sleep.
I mean, my fit from the skin be stored.
That's right. One pitch away from it.
One pitch, one game at a time. Well, thank you, Aiden, for your Texas update. You don't have a whole lot of things to be happy about other than they're still playing baseball, and they can turn this thing around. Dad, thanks for joining us, as always. You can catch him on Rounding Third and our, obviously, Swing Batter right here, where we host a wonderful channel. So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Please add some comments for Aiden. Give him some hope. Pick him up. He's a young fan. He doesn't need to grow up to be this sad, middle-aged man who's upset about his team. Is like, oh, here they go again. Let's bring him up. Let's pick him up. Let's give him some hope. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Aiden.
Thank you.
Thank you.